was all about the game today against South Africa as the Black Stars have safely landed in Johannesburg and had their final training session yesterday. But joining me via Zoom to discuss the chances of the team going into this game is Owusu Bempa Ayala, who's a sports journalist with our sister station in Share FM in Kumasi. And Ayala, it's a pleasure to have you here this morning. First off, what were your thoughts from the Ethiopia game?
Good, thank you. I've watched France play 2 games in the World Cup qualifiers, the last being against Ukraine. They've not been able to win. I watched Italy, the European champions, against Switzerland yesterday, and they couldn't win. It doesn't mean that the Italians and the French citizenry will not be criticizing their team, because that is the normalcy. So if I listen to Kosika Kono, I listen to Andrea, you are captain, who says we don't even know the results of the other games. That is why we are criticizing the play of the Ghanaian team against Ethiopia. I don't agree with them. We have our own standards, and this is Ethiopia. The last time we met them here was the first game of the second coming of Akosua Piara Barbara supposed to do. We beat this team 5. Yes, I acknowledge their improvement, but whenever it is that Ghana are playing Ethiopia, and not at any place but on the Ghanaian soil, we need to be convincing enough in our approach. We need to dominate the game at every quarter of it. We need to be creating chances. We need to be scoring. We need to give the Ghanaian citizens whose orientation about the game is all about domineering. It's all about the Black Stars dominating games and having fun with it. And we didn't see that against Ethiopia. So I don't subscribe to their explanation that the game has been tough and that we should accept any standard of it. If Coach Ikakona is trying to tell us we created chances against Ethiopia, I don't know which chances he was talking about. But for me, the most important thing is being clinical about your chances, and that is what Ghanaians are apprehensive about when we go into the post-mortem of our game against Ethiopia. We are all envisaging improvement in the game against South Africa, and that is what we are anticipating today, Ora.
You make a very interesting point there. But if you look at Ghana's last few games preceding this, we saw the team score 2 against Sao Tome. We lost against Sudan. And then you come to the friendlies as well, where we lost against Morocco, failed to score against Ivory Coast, and just got a single goal against Ethiopia. Do we really have a goal-scoring problem? And how do you think, as a nation, we will be able to address this?
I was fascinated to learn from you and your social media handles that since Sika Kono came, the only attacker that has scored goal from open play is Caleb Kuban. And that is very, 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 very scary. Statistics under Kosika Kono. We must be worried about our goal scoring opportunities and our statistics, because the blood of football is about goals. And if you don't score goals, you don't win points. Yes, I believe that when we go to tournament, the defense must be tied to win us the trophy. But when we are playing the qualifiers, when we are playing games that we need to accumulate points, then we need to be scoring goals to be able to get there. And that is a problem that we are having. From what I watched against Ethiopia, I think the summary of why we couldn't score a lot of goals was that we had Kamaradin Suleiman on our right-hand side, Jeffrey Slop on our left, with Jordan and Dede up front as our 9 and 10. Now, the normalcy that we want to see is that we know Kamaradin and Slop are pacey players who have a lot of tricky under their shells. And with those players, they strive with pace. So what I was expecting was for Jordan and Dede to keep the central defenders and probably even the lateral defenders closer to them. Let them defend narrow so that we create the spaces for Kamaradin and Slop to attack those spaces. But what happened? We saw Jordan drifting to the right, drifting to the left. We saw that they do same. And when we do that, we suffocate those spaces within the lateral spaces, and our wingers don't have that kind of space to attack, and that really, really didn't go well with us. So I'm expecting a different approach this time against South Africa, especially when some players couldn't travel. I'm expecting players like Emmanuel Jesse, Kwame Poku to be given the opportunity to play. I'm expecting players like Gideon Mensah at left back to also showcase what he can do. And the Adam, because he's playing on the UK soil, can't travel to South Africa. So I'm looking at who steps in for the Adam at our right back. We don't have Amate because he's playing obviously for Leicester City. Who partners Jiku in our centre of midfield? Are we going to see a change from Baba Idris Waka to combination that could create a lot of chances? to probably bringing in Majid Asmero, who we know is very, very good when it comes to attacking the blocks and giving you the right opportunities to attack. And so these are the changes that I'm expecting our team to go into. And as Ike Akono said in his post-match press conference after the Ethiopian game, he wants to see improvements. Ghanaians want to see improvements, and the improvement must come in thick and fast against South African team that will give us more opportunities and more spaces to attack than what the Ethiopians came to do here. So I'm expecting us to attack those spaces and probably give the French players the opportunity who are hungry for success, who are hungry to also write their blast-off story, the opportunity to also give us what probably we want to see.
All right, and before we do go, Ayala, let's look ahead to the game this afternoon. Last time that Ghana went to Johannesburg, it was similar circumstances. A lot of key players were not available. Mohamed Kudus was the one who stood up that time. Which player do you see stepping up into the space to take up responsibility and perhaps lead Ghana to victory this afternoon?
I expect Gina Shimeru and probably Kamaldeen Suleiman to be our stars of this afternoon game. And the reason why I'm picking these two players is that, look, they are young. They know what it means to have a very, very good game against South Africa. They know what that will give in terms of their chances to stay in the Black Stars. And Kamaldeen on a very, very good turf as the FMB, with the kind of space that will be provided for him, will show why Ren came for him from Norgerland. And Majid Asmero has been on and off for us who have been following him. We think he needs to make a claim to the Blasters and be a permanent part of it. Then I'm looking at Sika Kono, giving him his opportunity for him to showcase what he can do. So I'm counting on those two players in the absence of Kudus. They are young, they are hungry, and they want to take every opportunity to write their names in gold and probably start their journey to become legends of the Blasters. And
do you have a prediction for the game?
It's very, very difficult to predict Anakosi Kakono because you're not scoring goals. But a 1-0 win will be something I'll be very, very comfortable with.
And that would mean Ghana would go to 6 points for the qualifiers and would still maintain the top spot in Group G. And hopefully that would be a good result and one to look forward to. But the game comes off this afternoon at the FMB Stadium as Ghana face South Africa in match day 2 of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers.